They say the average person has over 6,000 thoughts per day. But here's the part nobody tells you. Most of those thoughts are lies. Lies about your worth, lies about your abilities, lies about your future. Ever caught yourself thinking, "I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this," if any of that sounds familiar? Stay right here, because today we're going to expose the mental war that's happening inside your own head every single day. Before we dive in, if you're tired of losing this inner battle, hit subscribe, click like, and drop a comment right now. I'm ready to fight back. This isn't just a motivational speech. This is neuroscience meets war strategy. Let's go. Let me tell you a quick story. There's a famous Navy SEAL named David Goggins. At one point in his life, he was overweight, broke, depressed, and working as a pest exterminator. Every morning, his mind told him, "You're not good enough. This is your life now. Stay comfortable. Stay safe." But one day, after another failed attempt at change, he realized something powerful. My mind is lying to me every single day. And that's when he made a decision to stop listening and start fighting. And that is the first truth I need you to understand. Your mind is not your friend by default. It's wired for survival, not greatness, not growth, not fulfillment. Its job is to keep you safe, comfortable, predictable, even if that means keeping you small and miserable. Now, let's break down the science. Inside your brain, you have a structure called the amygdala. It's part of your limbic system, your emotional control center. Its primary job, to detect threats and keep you alive. But here's the glitch. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between running from a lion, or sending that scary email, or going to the gym after work, or waking up early to start that project you've been avoiding. To your brain, discomfort equals danger. That's why every time you try to step out of your comfort zone, you get hit with a wave of resistance, fatigue, overthinking, procrastination. This isn't weakness. It's outdated survival programming. Let me tell you about Sarah, 32 years old, marketing manager. On paper, she had it all together, but inside, every day was a war. She wanted to launch her own business, wake up earlier, start running. But every time she tried, her mind whispered, "You're too tired. It won't work anyway. Let's do it tomorrow." Until one day, she did something different. She wrote down every single negative thought she had for 3 days straight. The result? Over 120 self-sabotaging thoughts in just 3 days. That's when she realized her biggest enemy wasn't outside, it was living rent-free inside her own head. And when she started challenging those thoughts, her life started to shift. And that's exactly what we're going to break down in the next section. How to recognize, intercept, and reprogram your mental lies before they ruin your day. So now, your mind lies to you daily, hourly, sometimes by the minute. But the real question is, what can you do about it? Because awareness alone isn't enough. You need tools, tactics, and most importantly, you need to rebuild your inner voice. Let's get into it. Here's the first thing you need to know. Negative thought patterns. They run on autopilot. The brain loves efficiency. So the more you repeat a thought, the more it becomes a well-worn neural pathway. Think of it like this. Imagine a dirt path through a field. Walk it once, you barely leave a mark. Walk it every day, you create a clear trail. Walk it for years, and it becomes a road. That's exactly how negative self-talk is wired into your brain. But here's the good news. You can interrupt the loop. One of the fastest ways. The 5-second rule. Popularized by Mel Robbins. It's simple, but it works. Here's how. The moment you notice a negative thought, you count 5 for 3, 2, 1, go. And then you take action. Move. Stand up. Start the task. Change your state. Why? Because counting backwards interrupts the prefrontal cortex and shifts you out of autopilot. It sounds too simple to work, but neuroscience backs it. You're literally breaking the loop. Try it the next time you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this. I'm too tired. Just count down and act. One of the reasons your mind wins these battles is because you're fighting thoughts while sitting still. You're lying on the couch, arguing with yourself in your head, thinking you'll magically get motivated. But here's the truth, emotion follows motion. Your physiology controls your psychology. Tony Robbins, Navy SEALs, and sports psychologists all teach this. Change your body gives, change your state gives, change your thoughts. So here's a fast, science-backed hack. The 20-second state break. Stand up, shake your arms, take 5 deep breaths. Smile yes, force it. Jump in place 5 times. Sounds silly? Try it. You'll feel your energy shift, your heart rate rise, and suddenly, those negative thoughts lose volume. Why? Because you've flooded your system with oxygen and endorphins, redirecting neural resources from rumination to action. This is how you start to train mental toughness at the biological level. 36 years old, aspiring writer for years, he told himself, I'll start writing tomorrow. I don't have the energy. What's the point anyway? One day, after binge watching videos just like this one, he tried something different. The next time the thought hit him, I don't feel like writing. He stood up, counted backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. He sat at his desk, opened his laptop, typed one sentence. That sentence turned into a paragraph, then a page, then a chapter. Now, he's published 2 books. His secret? Not motivation. Not waiting for inspiration. But mastering the art of interrupting his mental lies and acting anyway. And that is exactly what we're going to build on in the next section. How to create permanent mental toughness by rewiring your identity and becoming the kind of person who shows up no matter what. Stay with me. By now, you're starting to realize something. Mental toughness isn't about feeling strong. It's about acting, even when you feel weak. But here's where most people fail. They rely on tricks, one-time hacks, or temporary bursts of motivation. If you want this to last, you need something deeper. You need to rebuild your identity. Let's talk about how. Behavioral science shows us that real, lasting change happens when it's tied to identity. Here's what that means. Instead of saying, I want to exercise more, you say, I'm the type of person who never skips a workout. Instead of saying, I want to wake up earlier, you say, I'm the type of person who gets up when the alarm goes off. No debate. Why does this work? Because your brain has a powerful mechanism called cognitive consistency. It hates when your actions don't match your self-image. So when you start telling yourself and proving through action that you're a disciplined, tough, focused person, your brain starts rewiring to keep that story true. This is why small wins matter. Every single time you act in alignment with your new identity, you're laying another brick in the foundation of mental toughness. Here's a tool you can use today, the 2-minute rule. Coined by James Clear in Atomic Habits, the concept is simple. Start with something so small, it feels impossible to fail. If you want to build the identity of a disciplined person, instead of aiming for a 1-hour workout, start by just putting on your workout clothes and doing jumping jacks for 2 minutes. Instead of writing 1,000 words, just write 1 sentence. Instead of meditating for 20 minutes, just sit still and breathe for 2 minutes. Why? Because action, no matter how small, creates momentum. And momentum creates identity change. You're not just doing the task, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. And over time, those votes add up. Let me introduce you to Jason. 29 years old. Software engineer. For years, he called himself lazy. Unmotivated. Unfocused. Every morning, he snoozed his alarm 3 times. Every evening, he told himself he'd wake up early tomorrow. But then, he stumbled across this concept of identity-based change. So he made a tiny decision for the next 7 days. The moment his alarm rang, he would sit up in bed immediately. That's it. Just sit up. No pressure to exercise. No need for a full morning routine. Just sit up. By day 3, he noticed something strange. Getting up felt easier. By day 5, he was getting out of bed on the first ring. By week 2, he was going for 15-minute morning runs. Fast forward 3 months, Jason had completed his first 5K race. Woke up at 6 a.m. consistently. And most importantly, he no longer described himself as lazy. He became the kind of person who follows through. And it all started with 2 minutes of action. You see, mental toughness isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in small, daily acts of defiance against your own excuses. So here's my challenge to you. Right now, think of one tiny action that your future self would thank you for. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. And in the next part of this video, we're going even deeper. I'll show you how to hardwire these new behaviors into your brain using repetition, triggers, and emotional reinforcement, so mental toughness becomes automatic. Stay with me. So, by now, you've learned how to interrupt negative thought loops, how to change your physical state, and how to rebuild your identity through small, consistent actions. But there's still one missing piece: how to make all of this stick. Because let's be honest, it's easy to start strong, but most people quit after a week. Why? Because they don't understand one crucial thing. Your brain only rewires through repetition and emotional intensity. Let me explain. Inside your brain, every time you take an action, neurons fire. And when you repeat that action over and over, those neurons begin to wire together. This is called neuroplasticity. Neurons that fire together, wire together. But here's the mistake most people make. They expect new habits to feel easy after a few days. Science says otherwise. It takes at least 30 to 50 deliberate repetitions before a new neural pathway becomes dominant. And the more emotionally intense the action, the faster the rewiring. That's why doing one tiny thing while fully engaged beats doing a huge task on autopilot. So the next time you complete a focus session, or resist the urge to scroll, or wake up on time, pause. Breathe and tell yourself, this is who I am now. Reinforce it emotionally. Celebrate it. You're not just checking a box, you're rewiring your brain. Let me give you one of the most effective tools for lasting change: anchor habits. These are small, repeatable actions that trigger a cascade of positive behaviors. Think of them as dominoes. Knock one down and the others follow. Examples: making your bed right after waking up gives signals the brain day has started. Time to execute. Drinking a glass of water first thing triggers hydration, which increases alertness. Writing one sentence every morning trains creative consistency. Doing 10 push-ups when you feel anxious shifts physiology and clears mental fog. The key is consistency. Your brain loves patterns. The more predictable your anchor, the stronger the association. And soon, you'll find yourself doing the hard things without overthinking. Let me tell you about Emily, 25 years old, college student. She struggled with anxiety, procrastination, and a constant feeling of overwhelm. Every semester, she promised herself, this time, I'll stay on top of things. But the cycle repeated until she implemented just one anchor habit every morning before checking her phone. She would write down the 3 most important tasks for the day. At first, it felt pointless. But after 2 weeks, she noticed her anxiety decreased. Her focus increased. By month 2, her grades improved. Her sleep got better. And most importantly, her inner dialogue changed. From "I'm lazy" to "I'm disciplined." That's the power of small, consistent mental wins. So here's the truth: you don't need to be a Navy SEAL. You don't need perfect willpower. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to make a choice today, right now, to stop letting your mind lie to you. Because every time you take action, no matter how small, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. So here's my final challenge for you. Drop a comment right now. I'm winning the inner war. Hit like if this video spoke to you. Subscribe for the next episode in this Mind Reboot series. And remember, you don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your systems. So build systems, build identity, and win this war every single day. JustHabits. One habit can change everything.